Welcome to CookBook. I'm Darren Demaree, and today we have poet, filmmaker, award-winning baker Nicole Eiden, author of I Am One of You, and she is going to teach us how to make one of her very special pies. And then after we learn how to do that, get a chance to sit down and talk to her about the new book, talk to her about her little pie shop in New Orleans and how that's going. And really get to find out some of those tricks of pies, which I'm super excited to find out about. Welcome to the new cookbook. I have Nicole Eiden here. She is going to teach us how to make one of her wonderful pies. What are we making?
We are making an amaretto, pear, and dried cherry pie.
I'm so excited. So what do we need to do first?
Well, really getting your dough rolled is the most important thing to do first. I've already actually rolled the shell because I like to put that in the freezer when I do double crust pies, or at least get it really cold in the fridge, because it tends to warm up really fast when you put your filling in. So that's rolled, that's in the freezer, but I am going to show you how to roll dough to make lattice strips.
Excellent. So
I keep my dough in the fridge. I'm going to go get that. Now, I make my own dough, and I'm not going to go through that today, but just so y'all know, it takes a little practice, but it's really doable. I use equal parts shortening and butter. The shortening gives it the texture, that flakiness, and the butter gives it flavor.
Okay. And
I use a organic sustainable palm shortening spectrum.
What is the...
No trans fats, which is nice.
Sure.
And you can use lard, Crisco. And then I use butter that's a European style butter, which means it has a little higher butter fat. The brand I use most often is Plubra, which is sometimes a little hard to find, but you can
Where's that from? Where do you...
It's from this country, but it's made in like a European style.
Okay.
I get it in New Orleans at a restaurant supply store where I get a lot of it at a time, but you can find it at like nicer groceries.
Okay.
But even like a nice organic butter will have a better butter fat quality. That just adds flavor.
So what is the most amount of butter you've ever bought at one time?
Oh, I buy, I think, 40 pounds at a time.
All right.
And I use King Arthur flour, which is from Vermont, and it's delicious. Now, it's really nice to roll in Ohio because it's cooler, but what you want to do is not let it get too warm too quickly, because if it gets warm and then parts that are cold, it starts cracking. And so if I find that I kind of try to warm up the middle, but I don't really want it to really warm up all together.
And if it cracks, will that make it too crumbly?
You just try to warm it up and push it together.
Okay.
Because once your dough starts cracking, it's a mess to deal with. And I'm just moving it a little quarter turn. I can feel it's kind of, see, it's a little unevenly cold and warm in this kitchen. It's okay, we'll be all right.
So how do you monitor that in your pie shop?
It's so hard. I live in New Orleans. It can be like 90 degrees, and it's a very big pain in the neck. In the summer, I feel like I'm a beginner, and then come fall and autumn, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so good at rolling.
And it's just been the change in temperature?
Yeah, sometimes like at this, if I feel it's weak, I'll literally put it on my sheet tray and put it in the fridge and do something else and let it chill back together.
All right.
Because I just can't deal.
So once you do something like buy 40 pounds of butter at once, how does that change the way you live your life?
Well, I have a commercial kitchen now. But I did start baking out of my house, and it was really crazy.
All right. The amount of adventure that brings up.
Yeah, I have a lot of ingredients. So I'm going to keep it a little thicker because I'm going to use for lattice strips, which on top, once they start getting thinner, once again, they're hard to work with. And this is... this rolls, there's different ones. This one's a little nicer because it's got two sides to it. It just rolls a little straighter. And I know I need about 10 strips. That one's a little too thin. Whoops. I'm just going to go like this. And it's a circle, so it's actually nearing the shape of the pie. So the longer ones will be in the middle. Okay. And the shorter ones will be used on the end. One thing I do with my shop, I actually make little leaves for this pie, and I got these really great little, like almost like cookie punchy things at Williams-Sonoma, and I punch them out and make like really pretty. And that works really well. It's really easy and it looks really fancy.
Nice.
And I just pick these up quickly. I'm supporting both sides. They're still cold, so they're thick, so it works pretty well. And it's okay if ones break. There's little tricks you can hide things. I'll keep that little...
There you go. We'll use it for something.
Yeah, I can tuck it under and no one will ever know.
So when did you start baking seriously? When did this
About
this happen?
5 years ago, I started a pie company, and I called my friend who's a really good pastry chef. I said, I'm going to do this. Do you want to do it? And she was sort of at a point in her career where she had kind of maxed out the world of restaurants, what she wanted to do there, and was working in a store to do like more production and try to get some benefits like health insurance and stuff. So she...
Important things.
Yeah, it's really tough in that world. So she wanted to do too. I'm just going to throw this in the fridge while we do everything else so they stay really nice temp. Will fit. Please fit, please shut. I think it will. Nice.
Oh, excellent.
Okay,
so what's next?
Well, I'm going to peel these. It would be really good, Darren, if I could have like a bowl.
Sure.
Put these peelings in, just to like a little scrap bowl. Actually, and that also perfect. You know that silver bowl down there looks really good. The biggest one, I'll use that too. I forgot to get that out. I like to buy my pears a few days before I want to use them because then they just ripen up perfectly. Get a little juicier, which is really nice for the pie. So I'm just gonna, also another little thing, I feel like I'm giving all this. I really like this kind of peeler. A lot of people don't use this kind, they use the thin one.
What is the benefit to this?
I don't know, I just like it.
Okay.
And this one's super cheap. It's made in Switzerland, I think, or something. But it's like, it's so cheap you can just kind of get a new one when it's dull.
Okay.
You can find it at little kitchen stores. I bet like
So there are other ones that are much more expensive?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But this is what is used in most professional kitchens. And it really is nice. Actually, can I get a cutting board too? I forgot to ask for that. A bigger one would be better, yeah. And I'm just gonna, and a knife. I'm forgetting all these things I thought I got out. I didn't bring a knife in my suitcase.
It would have been strange if you showed up at the house and pulled a giant knife out.
I had enough weird stuff.
So the name of your pie shop is what?
Windowsill Pies.
Windowsill Pies, that's right.
Yeah.
And you guys just won.
Yeah, we did. We were on Cooking Channel last week.
And victorious.
Victorious. We won $10,000 towards our business.
That's
which was
great.
Super crazy, awesome. It was really stressful, but we did it.
But it worked out. Where was the filming?
Toronto.
Okay.
And it was like one of those competition type things.
And what pie did you make there?
We did, well, it was kind of like you didn't really know what the secret ingredients were going to be or what they would have in their own shelf.
And that was part of the show?
Yeah, that was really stressful. We did this variation of our own pecan pie, but the secret ingredient was Chinese 5-spice. So it was, our pie is usually vanilla bean bourbon pecan, and it has all Louisiana pecans and local honey and Steen's cane syrup, which is like kind of like maple syrup. It's made from sugar cane, and Steen's brand has like this really great bite to it. We knew they wouldn't have that, so we
How did you improvise it then?
Yeah, we used maple syrup and had to adjust some of the other stuff because that's sweeter. And then instead of like your traditional like cinnamon kinds of spices, like cinnamon, nutmeg, we used the Chinese 5-spice, which was sort of aromatic. And it worked well. It worked well. And then we did a variation on this pie actually because the mandarin oranges was the second challenge, and I added. This was with apples, but a similar kind of thing to this, and then a dark chocolate with like an orange caramel.
Wow.
And a chocolate ganache with a chocolate cookie, like a chocolate coffee orange crust. It was pretty intense.
Okay.
So it was good. We did a good job. We kind of...
It does sound stressful though. That's
practiced, yeah, we didn't know what the secret ingredients were going to be, but we wanted to like, the time allotment was really short, so we kind of looked at what we were really comfortable making and wanted to sort of see if we could use variations on some really good things we already did.
Sure.
So, but that, yeah, so.
Excellent.
So when you guys visit New Orleans, you'll be able to come to our place, and kids can come, and
that sounds
awesome. Good. There'll be wine, beer, coffee, all the necessary water. I guess.
The coffee and pie will be good enough for me. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let me just dry my hands a little bit here. All right. All right. Before I do anything else, I'm going to warm up some amaretto. I really like, it's a quarter cup. I really like this brand, if I can open it, Lazzaroni. It's not too sweet, it's really nutty flavor. And I'm going to put it in a bowl just because this is a plastic measuring cup, but a lot of times I'll just, if I have a glass pattern, I'll just heat it right on that.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to use something bigger because I'm going to put that right after. Can I grab, are all these?
Yeah, whatever you need.
Let's see, actually. I think I'm going to look over here. You had some bigger things over here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is good. That's got a lot of stuff. Okay, I got it. I got it.
All right.
Perfect.
It's booby trapped a little bit.
Yes. Take a lot of those. And put this in for like 30 seconds, okay, if you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am.
And I got these really great dried cherries. And I believe I already measured those out, but we'll double check.
Okay.
That's a cup and a quarter cup. Okay. Here we go.
Do we need to preheat the oven?
Yeah, good idea.
What does it need to be at?
400.
400,
yeah.
Okay.
Good thinking. Thank you. They're really awesome. You want to try one? They're tart. Yeah, I've melted it out already. So what I'm going to do is pour that hot amaretto over this and just let them soak.
Okay.
It's really awesome. Yeah, that's pretty good. I guess I could have used this bowl. Well, I'm just going to try to make as many dirty dishes as possible.
That's fine.
That's my style. All right. Oh, this was the bowl I was going to use. Yeah, I do need that bowl.
Okay.
Switch it up. Okay.
All right.
Because I'm going to put my pears in. So that's why we have that bowl.
Okay. So what's next?
Cutting these pears. I just cut them in half. And then you quarter them. And you can kind of see if the camera can see this. I kind of, let's see, I just kind of cut like at an angle.
Okay.
And that makes a nice, fast, this one I didn't cut too well. Get that core out real easily. Excuse me. And I'm just going to cut these in slices. Just make sure I don't have any of the seeds in there. That one I didn't cut too well, but so I am going to just go like this, but I usually don't do that. These are perfect ripeness that I can tell.
They look delicious.
Yeah. And it's really, like, the flavor combination is just really unexpected. Some people are like, what is that? That's really weird.
So who taught you initially how to bake?
That's my grandma. Classic story. My mom's good.
This is the same grandmother from the poem the other night?
Yeah, both of her are bakers, but it was definitely the one in Columbus who was around a lot more. Yeah, so I have a lot of her tools. Some of them aren't as like practical as tools that I use today, but I like to keep them and look at them.
Sure.
Yeah, she always made stuff. My mom did too, but my mom never made her own dough. She always got the Pillsbury and all that stuff. Alright. And you can, like I said, I've made this with apple too.
Okay.
It works.
Do you have to change anything up if you're using apple?
No.
No?
Yeah, I used about the same. It tasted pretty good.
Okay.
I think I have a lemon around here. Shoot, I don't have. Do you have a lemon? I think I forgot my lemon.
So what we got?
Please have a lemon. Please have a lemon. Or an orange would work.
We have, yeah.
Oh gosh, I hope you are planning to use that for dinner. Thank you. I have one that I left at home. Perfect. Lemon, so after I do this, I'm going to put the lemon on these to keep them just, you know, like from turning brown. Adds a little brightness.
Okay.
Citrus is always really good in fruit pies. It just adds a little bit of brightness, complexity. And before,
So the citrus can affect the color. It
yeah,
sort of
you know
keeps
how
the
an orange,
original-
like, just think about how like a apple turns brown. That's kind
Okay,
of like
sure.
just like the oxidation.
Okay.
But before I do squeeze it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to zest it. And you want to do that first. It's a lot easier to zest it before.
Okay.
Can I give you this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done with that. And I really only want to get the yellow part. I don't want to go again in the same place to get the white. The white part's bitter.
Okay.
So just that yellow is the nice lemon. And there's more lemon flavor actually on the peel than in the juice,
Okay.
like in terms of how you taste it, like when in something. So it doesn't have like that sour. It's just like lemon.
Sure.
So I'm just getting the peel. This is a really nice tool. This microplane, it's a lot easier than things that are called like lemon zesters, which I hate.
Okay.
They're like little things and they don't really work very well. So I see I'm done. I'm not going to do it on your counter, don't worry. I don't know why I did that way. Okay, and then I'm gonna measure this out. I'm not gonna put the whole lemon in. I think I need about 2 tablespoons here. Let's see. I forget. Is it somewhere? No, I guess I do. I just put the whole lemon in. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think it's just one lemon.
I'm not gonna do I'm not gonna squeeze it till it's dry though. I'm just gonna like do like that. All right, I'm gonna hand this to you.
Okay.
All right.
What's next?
Put that in that. I'm gonna add my little cherry mixture with all my yummy amaretto flavor. And then I'm gonna do my spices, I think. Oh, almond extract. Almond extract's really awesome. You can buy a little one because it's not hard to find. And I just need to put 2 teaspoons. It's so good. And basically, I hope there's 2.
I can smell it from here. How potent is that?
Yeah, it is good. Look, there's 2 tablespoons.
Perfect. Wow.
2 teaspoons. I think I said tablespoons. 2 teaspoons. And then I'm going to grate my nutmeg. I'm just going to do this by eye. I need a 1/4 teaspoon, which is about 30 of these. I just know that. Alright, so almond extract, nutmeg, brown sugar.
Okay.
3/4 cup. And I like dark brown sugar.
Do you need a...
No, I'll just use, this is a 1/4, I'll just do it 3 times. Yeah, I really like dark brown sugar. It has more, I believe, more molasses content in it. I'm still learning about sugars and all the differences between them. So, totally.
So you know more that one is dark and one is light. You know more than that. That's good. Because I don't.
Yeah. But it was
Is there
really,
different, like...
They just have more flavor to me. But you can, some recipes call for light brown sugar and some for dark. And I think it's fine to follow the recipe because there's reasons. But for this.
Sure. But the science of it sounds like it's fascinating.
Yeah, there's definitely like a molasses difference, but I don't really like. We share a kitchen with sugar people, but I'm still like learning about it. Yeah, so 3/4 brown sugar.
Okay.
All right, so pretty much got my amaretto, cherries, pear, lemons, almond extract, nutmeg, brown sugar, and my hands are clean. And I find the best way to do this is just mix it all with my hands. Separate all those pears.
Plus, it's more fun that way.
Yeah. And I'm going to let it sit for a little bit while I get everything else ready. I'm going to add tapioca. Tapioca is a thickening agent.
Okay.
It is one of the things, I have it right here. It's a little red box. You can find it at the grocery store in the baking aisle. There's only one brand. I don't know. It's really weird.
So this is the additive that makes the pudding?
Yeah. See those pearls.
All right.
And it thickens up pudding. And I need a 1/4 cup. That's what I brought with me. Yep. And I'm just going to scatter and let that sit in there while I get...
And what will that do to it?
All those juices that bubble, it kind of thickens them and gives it the right consistency. So when the pie sets, it's good. You can use flour.
Okay.
I have recipes where I use some flour. Cornstarch, people don't like to use as much because it kind of waters the flavor down. Tapioca is like really clean. It like thickens without like diluting the fruit.
Sure.
And then we're done. We are going to do one little thing. Where did I put that little egg? I think it's on the counter.
Right there.
So I will use another bowl. I'm going to use this. Wait, I'm going to use... This will be good. Wait. No, I'm acting like I know your house. Like, I saw that bowl. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to make a little egg wash. And that's what you put on top to make it like shiny and look kind of finished.
Oh, okay.
You can use different things. Milk. Some people use... And a fork. I like egg wash.
So why do you choose egg wash over
It just gives it a really nice shine.
Okay.
Yeah, and it browns it. Excuse me. It also gives it like, it helps it brown properly.
So the pies then are both pretty and delicious.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Now, usually I would use a whisk for this, but because you really want it to be truly like, not like streaky.
Would you like a whisk?
Yeah, which is fine. I'm just saying. Like if you didn't have pork. All right, so let's assemble everything.
Okay.
Yay! Oh wait, I forgot a pear. How this one? Let me cut this really fast.
There you go.
Like classic.
That's all right.
Oh, like that pear was hiding.
Well, I can't imagine many people come in and are like, I want a pie, I want it fresh, and I want it now. Do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it is kind of like a parker. Now we're gonna eat this pie before it sets, but just for reference, it's best to wait about 2 hours at least to cut up the pie, because it kind of runs.
All the ingredients get
well, it just thickens and it like cuts pretty when you wait that long.
Sure.
You know, like cuts where out like the juices won't all like run together. But we're gonna. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm glad I saw this guy before like everything was in the shell.
Would it have gone horribly wrong?
No, it's been like shallow and it might have been a little sweet.
It could have been secret guilt. You would have never had to bring it up.
Well,
you would have known in your heart.
I've made mistakes, let me tell you. I've made mistakes.
Is there such thing as pie sins? I don't know if that's...
I like that. I think, like, one time, this was like the worst thing. I didn't add, somebody ordered a pie for like a funeral, and I don't think I added the honey, so it was like this blueberry pie that was so sour, and no one could eat it, but we couldn't give them another one because it was like a horrible experience.
Sure.
So that was the worst. That was my lowest point.
There were. My mom made brownies once and forgot to put sugar in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So they were like.
And somehow we bring it up like every
all the time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
She's made one baking mistake.
I know, but that's. My dad and I made bread and it wouldn't work. We kept adding more and more flour until we realized we were adding powdered sugar. I was like a 4th grader, but yeah. So this is nice and frozen. It's going to get a little softer as we put the lattices on, and hopefully it'll be just soft enough where I'll be able to tuck the lattices underneath, but it won't be too soft.
Okay.
So I'm going to pour this delicious filling in. I want to make sure I get all that good stuff, because that's all awesome flavor. Actually, I might grab like a little soft spatula. It would be good. You have like a...
I think we have
like,
some options.
This glue is fine, yeah.
Okay.
Just get that. You'll be surprised scraping a bowl how much is there.
Sure.
It like looks like you don't have much left. You're like, oh, but it's a lot. So
well, and why waste the good stuff, right?
I know. Let's see how juicy this is. I'm going to kind of even it out. Okay. Make sure all those cherries aren't in one spot. And just flatten it. Just kind of scatter the cherries so they poke through the lattice really pretty. And it'll like, the juices will kind of even out while it's baking.
Sure.
I'm glad you remembered to preheat the oven. I totally forgot that. Yeah, okay. So another little tip, trick tip for all fruit pies is adding a little butter on top.
Okay.
Once
and what does that do?
It gives it that, just a better, richer little flavor, but it's not so much that it's like, well, it just adds a, I think it adds that warm, satisfying quality. Okay. And I use 2 tablespoons per pie, which is an ounce, and I just cut this, I just grabbed this before I came over here. Once again, you can kind of see this butter is like, it's a nice yellow color to it.
Well, you got better butter than most people.
Yeah, it's worth it for like this kind of stuff. Oh, unsalted.
Okay.
Always unsalted, because you don't want to mess with the salt qualities.
Sure.
Okay, now I've got this little, use a pastry brush, or this is more like a little baster. I'm just going to put a little egg wash around the edge, which kind of just helps it adhere. I'm going to get those lattices out. Okay. And they might actually be a little too cold, and they might break, so I'm going to be really careful with them. Okay. Can I hand this up to you? But the problem is, they get warm so fast that...
You don't want it to go the other way.
Right. Okay. But they actually feel really good.
All right.
So I'm going to pick a nice solid one for the middle, and I'm going to put that across. And this one's alrighty. Or was. This one looks really good. So I'm going to cross it here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put another one. It's sort of an over-under woven thing.
Now, other than the appealing look of it, why do you do a lattice instead of a...
If you do a full, which I'm doing it just for aesthetics, but if you do a full, which is great too, you would roll a full one out, tuck it in, and then you would definitely have to give it some little slashes so it can bubble up. But yeah. And so, because it's the perfect temperature, I can actually fold this over almost, maybe. Like there's a perfect temperature where you can actually fold it. Now, it's fine, like I said before, if I don't have perfect lattices, I can kind of trick the audience by like adding a little piece in an area I know is going to be under.
Mm-hmm. So now, if you were at a baking school and you didn't do your lattices perfect, would you get made fun of?
I don't know. I don't think they do this. This is like too homey for like pastry school.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? They're like doing such fancy stuff that I don't do.
Yeah, but is their stuff as pretty as this?
Yes. All right. Did I make enough? Let's see, I need 10. Did I even count? See, this is where talking is hard sometimes for me to do while I'm counting and talking is really hard to do at the same time for me. I could never like be a bank teller.
Well, out of your many jobs, that's not one of them. So you're fine.
You're fine. So I'm making sure I do over under. So this one's going to be under. But this one I've got to move over here. Like that. I'm going to put a little guy right there where it's going to be just fine. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I am like one short, but it'll work. So this is over, under. Try to keep them straight. They look nicer when they actually like lay straight.
Sure.
This one's that thin one I made. Wasn't my favorite, but we're gonna put it here. And actually, you know what I'm gonna do? This is the beauty of dough. It's still kind of cool. We're gonna put that rolling pin.
Alright. And there's a little extra dough if you need it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Really hot.
Okay.
Pretty crappy because it's hot, but
there we go.
I'm just gonna see what I can do here.
Well, when we filmed with Donna and we were putting out berries on the toddler and doing things like that, there was a little open space that she referred to as the orphan corner.
Because she like didn't have enough, or she forgot it, or
it was just trying to get it spread right and trying to get it covered. And I'd never heard the phrase orphan corner in terms of baking before.
I like it. That's what we were. Okay, where's my little rolly? I'm gonna put it over here. Where is that thing? Little rolly thing I have.
This one?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm gonna just save the date. You can use dough twice. Usually you chill it between, but after that you don't want to use it again. What I mean is you can roll it out twice. Perfect.
If you try a third time, you got to save it for food fights and things like that.
Yeah, because it's just not. It's tough. It's tough at that time.
Right.
Perfect. See, like look how that. So now what I'm going to do is use these scissors and just cut my little extras off.
Okay.
And I'm going to tuck it under. And it's just getting soft enough where I can literally do that. So that's like perfect. If I do like an open face, like pecan or like a cream pie,
sure,
I chill it and then pinch it. Like, you know, like that. But for this kind of pie, I don't do that actually. I see one little spot I want to stick. Little guy. About that.
And it will be our little secret.
Yeah. Well, at the company, we always have a pie that's open and pinch and a pie that's covered at the same time, because all the ones that you roll that aren't really that nice that you can't pinch because they look bad.
Sure, you can still use them.
Yes, you hide them this way.
There you go.
It's a really good idea. All right, and then sometimes at this point I'd have to put it back in the fridge to chill because I wouldn't be able to brush it with egg wash because it's going to be too warm. But this feels actually pretty good, so I'm going to try to do that to move things along.
Sure.
But you know it's going to get messy, so I'm just going to do it on this. So you have egg wash all over your counter.
Okay. Well, it's already pretty, and we're going to make it prettier.
And you want to get in those crevices where all the lattices meet, especially, because that's the area that's hardest to brown. And, you know, so many of the pies and quiches and that kind of thing we buy in the grocery store are so underbaked. If you look at the bottoms, they're just not even, they're white.
Okay.
And it's just, it drives me crazy. There's no flavor there. It's completely underbaked. You want it to get pretty brown, actually.
Occasionally I will buy a store pie, but I never tell my mother about it. I try to...
Well, it's hard, it's hard not to, it's hard to find, I mean, I know you guys have like Dough Mama.
Right.
Now, and then you Just Pies. It's hard to like find.
Wyland's has a few different local places that'll...
I'm gonna miss Wyland's.
Stevens, I think, is
yeah. And that's good.
If you're willing to accept the Bible verse with your delicious
pie. I was gonna say that, but I opted out. I noticed that the other day. I was like, I said to my mom, I was like, seriously?
Yeah.
I'm a good Catholic, but come on.
Separation of religion and pies?
I just don't understand why that's a marketing company.
It's Central Ohio. I'm sure it matters.
Really?
A little, to some.
Yeah, I was gonna say that and like totally withheld my.
Well, I brought because I bought one of their strawberry rhubarb pies a week ago, and
I saw it at Wyland's.
It was delicious.
Good. I've already been to Wyland's like 3 times since I've been here. I grew up with that, so it wasn't there. It was like up the street when I was a kid.
When it was more of a sort of...
Super Duper was where Wyland's is now.
Oh, okay.
And Super Duper was Super Duper. I love that place.
Wyland's is the best.
Oh yeah, Wyland's is awesome. And yeah, it was up the street a little bit, and then they got that space, and everyone was relieved in Clintonville. Mm-hmm. And make sure you get the edge, because that's an easy area to forget.
Okay.
And I can tell it's warm because it's like the dough's pulling when I do this, which is not good. Like, I wouldn't do this normally. Now, one ingredient I did forget. I use a really big sugar. It's called crystal sugar or sanding sugar. It's the kind of sugar you see on like cookies where the sugar's really noticeable.
Okay, sure.
And I just didn't remember bringing it. So I went and bought, the only thing I could find at Wyland's was...
an approximate.
Yeah, this is bigger than your granulated sugar, which works really well. So I'm going to use this. Open it here. And just for like a little like finishing touch, I scatter sugar over the top.
Okay.
The pie is not really sweet, and that's what I like. I don't like really sweet stuff. So
I think that's one of the main reasons why I like pies so much more than I like cakes and things like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree. I'm just going to literally go up and down these lattices and just sprinkle this stuff.
Okay.
And it's going to disappear a little bit because this is turbinado sugar.
Okay.
But you'll see it a little bit. If you use the sanding sugar, it kind of glistens after the pie's done. It's really pretty. It's not my best looking pie, but that's okay. Alright. Once again, I would put it, if I had all the time in the world, I would put it back in the fridge. I'm going to get a cookie sheet real quick.
Okay.
We already have one. Yeah, let's go.
And what are the positives of putting it back in the refrigerator?
So like the dough will like get cold and stay more like the way you want it instead of kind of go all over the place.
Sure.
Your lines will be straighter and all that good stuff. So this is a heavy pie. Mm-hmm. Can you open that for me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to put it in the middle right here.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. So this bakes for how
About
long?
45 minutes. I'm going to put it for 30 and turn it.
Okay.
Timer. And also because I don't know your oven perfectly.
That's fine.
And also I'll make one more really important thing. I bake this in just a aluminum foil, grocery store pan. Metal brown's the best.
Okay.
It's fine to use those glass Pyrex ones. I love those too, but you want to look at the bottom. Don't put those on a tray. If you have a glass Pyrex, just put it in because it won't bake if it's on a sheet pan like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the...
You wouldn't think...
Yeah, it does. But this, I like to put the foil ones on a pan because they're so... Like when you're trying to turn them and...
Yeah.
And then if it boils over, bubbles over, and that's it.
Okay. Well, we'll put this in here and we'll let this bake, and Nicole and I can sit down and talk poetry and other things. We'll be right back.
Good.
Pie is baking in the oven, and I have a copy of I Am One of You, Nicole's new book. So a lot of these seem to be about generational things with women that you know, with yourself, with your grandmother. how did this collection come together?
That's a good question. I just sort of noticed that theme. The poems were written over about an 8-year period, I would say. And this photograph that's on the cover of my grandma's basketball team, she gave it to me, and it's always been one of my prized possessions. You know, when I left, when I evacuated for Hurricane Katrina, like that was in my car. Like that's like one of my favorite things, and I just always really identified with that. And so then...
Well, she looks so much like her.
It's funny. And my daughter looks a lot like her too.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I started noticing the themes coming up, and certainly it's not in all of them, but yeah, I just felt like it was appropriate as a cover. I love the cover because I just love looking at all the faces from 1929, 1930 basketball team.
Sure. Well, and then one of the things that, as there's 2 or 3 sort of themes that build up through the book, part of it is about, for me when I was reading, sort of a younger woman becoming almost a middle-aged woman, what it means sort of for that advancement and worry a little bit, and sort of how that reflects back through almost your family, through the lineage and things like that. How did those themes sort of develop? Because it felt like you had a real nice sort of things that were all working in concert that addressed, to me, what was finally an exploration of not womanhood, but of the development that can take, and sort of the different faces that come with all of it.
Well, I think it's also just, I really like the way you put that, and I think to sort of not answer your question directly, but just to sort of understand why, is that I think that's just the way I see the world.
Sure.
And so that just naturally manifested. I'm an only child, but I'm from there's a lot of females, cousins and aunts, and all really women. And my grandma was, to me, both grandmas, but the one that's on the cover, you know, she's very unusual for her time. She did go to college. She was really into sports, and that really passed down to all of us. Especially my cousins were. I played through high school, but my cousins were really good in different sports. But just that sort of legacy of what it meant to be female in a lot of ways. Sure.
Well, the interplay with your friends in this as well. And one of the poems you read at Page in Columbus sort of addressed the changes that take place in those relationships.
Right.
But the development of sort of how you were contextualizing your own life and contextualizing those relationships with other women, that for me was the great part of this book, and sort of how it can develop and find new beauty, find and sort of explore what is sometimes a little bit of sadness, sometimes a great amount of sadness, but to work through all those things and find at the end more than a whole person, but a comfort almost in who you've become and who these poems, how they worked through all that.
I agree. I mean, that's my goal. That was my goal.
Right.
And my goal is to sort of represent. It was to, speak authentically about my experience. And there was moments that I felt like, gosh, this is really difficult to say something. But then I found that those sort of moments of risk taking became the poems that people responded to the most. So just taking those emotional risks that were more straightforward about how I actually experienced something, or then I think it was a particular moment that then becomes more relatable by other people. And then back to what you said, that sort of intergenerational investigation is not just about me and my family. Right. I wanted other people to be able to put that over top their own experiences, whatever they were, and sort of see something that they can connect to as well. Yeah.
It felt like, these poems don't come from a place of certainty. They come from a place of exploration, and sort of you delving into what to me felt like that sort of sweet spot of this is nice and this is warm, But this has been damn hard to sort of go through to get to some of these poems and to sort of contextualize it. But it worked really well. When you, for the 8 years when you were putting these together, how did you sort of pick and choose those moments from your life they're not haunting, but they're, you know, difficult.
I guess everyone has a different process. For mine is I usually like just sometimes something comes all at once and you just write it down. I'm sure as you know, because you have some that are like moment, you know, because I've read some of your work, and then sometimes you string together images and they sort of become something else. It's always investigation, like you said. I was telling this story at Capitol with a Q&A with the students. When I think I know what I'm writing about, it's always a flop. And I had this experience when I was younger, and I was waiting for a call from my boyfriend. This was when I was younger, and never came, stood me up. I guess I was dumb. That's what I'm asserting was happening. And I had this white shirt on. I went outside, and this bird just pooped all over me.
Oh, jeez.
And it was like purple, like the bird had just eaten a bunch of berries.
Okay.
So I was like, shit on. Oh, kids are here, I'm sorry. In like 2 ways. I was like, oh, look at this. This is going to be great. I got it all. Like, this is so crappy day. And it's like, oh, this is the dumbest poem.
Right.
And, you know, and it just, I knew what the end was.
Right. You enter something like that, and you enter it with flat feet. You're not on your toes. You're not trying to do something special. You're
Flat
like,
feet.
well, this is, you know.
Right, and I just thought I was being so clever.
Right. It never ends up with any sort of energy or music to it.
So that's a good learning.
This is a poem, and I know it is because of, and it just doesn't
I didn't
work.
even get that far to even think as get along as far as you just said. I was just like, nah. And so that was a good thing I always remember. Like, that just stuck with me, that process and that sort of forced process. Now, I do believe you have to work towards writing. I don't sit around or waiting for inspiration. Obviously, that doesn't work. But I think you do come to the table and, you know, write. Yeah. But, yeah, I always think, I don't know how you feel about this. When I finish a poem, I never can write it. That's all the ideas I have. I will never write another poem. That's like how I feel. And then I write another poem. And I don't have any other ideas. I will never write another poem. I mean,
It sounds like they all come from a great place of anxiety. Like, maybe this will never happen again. Okay.
That's how I always feel.
Sure.
And it's always like, it's just like, I just feel emptied out.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, so I don't know. That's just but I've kind of learned to like just accept that that's part of the process.
Right.
You know,
I feel like this
books,
now,
so I don't
but
know
I'm
how
not
you
gonna
kind of promote one book and are still writing. Like, I feel like so many of my energies have been traveling and reading. I haven't really. I feel like I'm a little bit stepped outside of any time to write.
It's gotta be exciting though. It's gotta feel good, and
it's fun to share. You know, I mean. That's the point of being an artist. It's not to, to sit in your room.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It's been a really nice aspect of it, is to be able to share the poems out loud and have people respond to them. I really like that. And I love meeting other poets. It's been really, really great. Because everyone's work is so different, and you can learn so much just reading other people's
Just the differences from the reading the other night with Marcus Jackson and with Donna.
Was great.
And,
yeah, I really
3 very different poets and a nonfiction writer who was doing poetic things in that essay for sure.
Was really different. Everybody was really different, and that's why there's always room for everybody. Yeah. You know, everyone can have a different vantage point and different style, because they will. Like, I remember, like, when I was in school, we'd have these like prompts or assignments, like write a poem in this poet's voice, and you weren't copying, because there's absolutely no way I could write a poem in Lorca's voice. It will never come out like that, but it pushed me to like maybe change the way I do my lines, or have longer lines or shorter lines, or you know, and then all of a sudden you're discovering your own thumbprint. It's like, oh, it doesn't even look like what I was trying to do. But
well, then once awesome. You get that sort of coveted voice that all your teachers, you've got to find your voice and write like you and so on and so forth. The fun part is once you feel confident in that, then you get to mess with it. So I know sort of what my voice is and what it's going to sound like when I write a particular kind of poem, and I can go back there. but the fun part is to mess with it. Okay, now I'm going to write prose poems for a little while, and it's going to be completely different.
But it's still you. Like, if I looked at it, like, oh, that Darren wrote that. But look how different this is.
I did. I did a collection of unfinished murder ballads that were all these
really
little
thematic.
vignettes. Yeah. And then I go and do exercise things where, like, I write a 9-word poem for every Cleveland Indians game. So that's so far this season 166 little 9-word poems, just to sort of hammer home. For me, it's fun because I watch the games anyway, and to have a little, but to try to execute a poem in 9 words is difficult.
So you get the essence of the games.
Right, and I think most poems are too long to begin with.
Amen.
So to sort of keep myself in check with that and to sort of have that exercise of, well, if I want to, it's okay to write a 3-line or 4-line or 5-line poem if you pull it off. Right? It's okay if a poem's 9 words if it's really great 9 words, right?
I only started writing these long things recently. The last one was like 7 minutes when I read it. And I was like, I never had dealt with that kind of thing.
Right.
So I'm sort of ADD. I like reading short poems. I don't want to read like.
So since most of mine are somewhere in like the 9 to 15 line range, if I end up writing something that's 2 to 3 pages long, I'm like,
whoa.
Okay, how did this happen? There's got to be a reason why, right?
It's good though. Yeah. There's a lot of little ones. I have one that's like 2 lines, I think. Let me just double check. Can't remember. One thing that I have the page numbers on this one are really too light. Why am I looking this up? But it's the one about the harmonica.
Okay.
I just want to see how many lines this is. Oh, it's 3 lines.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 lines. I think that's the shortest one.
It's great. Right?
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean.
So you're getting to come around and you're getting to read some. It sounds like it's all been a really positive experience so far.
Yeah, I read at 2 bookstores in New Orleans. They were really great events, and then I came here to my hometown, Columbus, right when my parents are moving. So it was kind of a good way to see a lot of people in my life, share a book that is really big, has Ohio all over it in my mind.
Right.
It's not necessarily, other people might not feel that way, but because it's part of my family, I just feel like it's very Ohio. To be able to say goodbye and like share where I am now.
Yeah.
And then, it's leading to other things. I have a couple things lined up in New Orleans, and I hope to be more part of the writing world there. I've been so immersed in the film world, and also I have a pie company, so...
You have pie friends, which are the best friends.
Food friends and film friends. So it's, I feel pretty integrated. I was struggling with that, like, how do I tap dance over here, and over here, and over here, and like, you do so much in the like literary world, it's like a lot, like, to be so integrated, and it takes all that time, and you want to be relevant and part of something that you're involved with. So I was struggling with that because I felt like I was...
Entry points are difficult.
In this world, in this world, in this world. And but now, I was like, oh, is this taking away from what I want to be doing? Or... Because I definitely see myself as a writer first, not even just the poems, but just film writing. But finally, I guess, I'm just like, well, you know what? We all do... Life is made up of very... many different skill sets. And most artists have a primary and a secondary art form. I mean, there's many painters who play the guitar, maybe not professionally or maybe not as their main thing, but, another way of expression. So I've kind of made peace with that, and it is a living, which is good, when you're a poet.
Yeah. Well, I had one more question I wanted to ask. You said that this took about 8 years to write. Where in that sort of time frame was your daughter born?
Oh, towards the end.
Towards the end?
So she's 3.5.
Right.
So actually, that's a really good question. So
because with the generational part and sort of how
I really tweaked that into like hyper focus for me.
Yeah.
It's a really good question. So I was focused on filmmaking for most of the last. I graduated. I got my MFA in 2004.
Okay.
And so I was doing that a lot, and I wasn't writing poems as much. And then I guess I had some fears about becoming a parent in terms of my creative life. My husband's a violinist, so an audio engineer, so he also has a very non-traditional work world.
Sure.
And I guess that, you know what, there's a lot of why it took me so long to have a child. Because I was 39, I think, when I was pregnant. No, that can't be right. 37. But I'm only 40.
How old am I? What is
and
this?
a half. I just remember having advanced maternal age written on everything.
Well, all it takes is 35 for that, right? So yeah, okay.
But I had some fears, and one thing that I really felt, and I did have some good mentors and some other friends, but I also had a lot of friends without children, you know, and what I'm saying, I had some good mentors with friends with children who really kept their practice.
Here's how it can work.
Right.
Sure.
And they weren't necessarily writers, but artists. And I don't know, having a child, even though life is obviously, you know, more complex, really focused me on what I want to do with my time here in the world. And that's the line in the last poem that says, Claudia says, it is our job to be examples. It really hit home when she said that. I was like, that's right. Like, especially having a female child, it's like, I don't want to show her that I'm just sending her to school so she can achieve dreams, and then I'm not doing anything that's focused on any of the things that I have dreams about. Like, I just saw
she gets to hold the book. She gets to see the film stuff. She
so I was
to,
like, you know,
more importantly, maybe she gets to taste the pies. But that's just my own. I'm projecting. It's okay.
All right. I'm like, something's gonna be done soon.
Yes, ma'am.
But yeah, I think that was like a big thing, and I like to talk about that out loud, just for other people to hear that, because I think there's so many mixed messages for men and women about parenting in general, and it's tough, and there's ways to do it, and like, I mean, you're doing it on your own terms with a great family life from this crazy place I see.
Well, you just got to take advantage of it when they're asleep. That's
yeah, definitely. So, and I've enjoyed having her come. She didn't come to the first two readings because I was I was nervous and I just couldn't manage it. But then she came to a smaller one in Bay St. Louis, and she did really well.
Good.
And it was great for me to have her there, and she saw me doing that because she always thinks her dad does so many interesting things because she gets to see him play all the time.
So getting right.
So I see some interesting things too.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming.
Okay, thank you.
And where can they get a copy of the book if they want?
Well, if they're away, Amazon is Prime 2 days, but you can always order it from Barnes & Noble, or independent bookstores will order it as well for you.
Can they get it through you some way?
Actually, not at the moment. But they can. Any independent bookstore can order it. In Columbus, they're at the Book Loft. There's some copies, and then in New Orleans at the bookstores. But actually, I'm working on that. I think I want to get that going soon. That way you can get a signed copy.
Yeah.
How do you do it? What do you do? Like a square on your
I've got it for readings and things like that, or I'll do...
Well, yeah, I always have them with me at readings, but I mean, do you have them on, like, online?
Like on my site, so you can buy them through me?
Right.
No, I haven't set that up yet.
Because you go through your prep.
Yeah, I go through...
Yeah, that's... I have the ability to sell them myself, or through the publisher.
Sure.
But you can't get them signed through Amazon, obviously.
No.
But I think I'll be able to do that on my site, and the publisher is fine with that.
Okay. And the pie shop's called Windowsill?
Windowsill Pies.
Excellent. And where is that in
New Orleans, Louisiana. We have just a commercial kitchen.
Okay.
We sell to a lot of places, but it'll be uptown in about 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8, you'll have a storefront and everything.
That's the vision, yes.
That's excellent.
So.
All right, well, good luck with that.
Darren.
Thank you for coming. And as I said, we're doing these all season. We'll have the next one with C.W. Everett for November. Thank you.
Thank you.
For joining us. Thank you to Nicole for teaching us how to make that delicious pie. Next month, we're going to have C.W. Everett join us, poet, publisher, editor from Columbus, from Pudding Press, and from many, many fun events all over Columbus. And she'll join us, and then we've got the rest of the season coming up. We're even going to take it on the road for a little bit for CookBook. So in terms of Sundress things, we're working on Best in Net. All the submissions are getting read. And in terms of new books, I actually have a copy of Les Kay's new book, At Whatever Front, headed this way now. So I'm very excited about that, and you should be too. You can just go to the Sundress website and purchase any of those titles. Thank you for joining us on CookBook.